For us, it's a daily thing.
It's every day, right?
This is Mammoth Daily
We're going to take you inside the locker room
with Mike Fulta.
We want this show to be about the fans, and we want this show to be driven by our Utah Mammoth community.
And Adrian Denny.
Fans can submit what they want to hear us talk about, what they want to hear Utah weigh in on. It's all going to be here.
Here's Mike and AD with you.
Utahns, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Right here on Mammoth Daily.
We have entered roster freeze territory in the NHL schedule. Good thing that neither I nor Adrian can get traded here as the rosters freeze. The GMs put the phones down momentarily, getting ready for the Christmas break. Mammoth in Colorado tonight, taking on the Colorado Avalanche. I'm Mike Fulta. He's Adrian Denny. We are your Hockey Night in Utah radio crew coming to you festively here on our last Mammoth Daily episode before we break for the holiday as well. Adrian, I love that sweater you have going on. What's the deal here?
It's just a festive Christmas sweater, Mike, with a hood. You know me and my hoodies. I like to be protected when I go outside, just in case. So it's my festive Christmas hoodie. For the folks listening, I've got some golden garland here, some sparkly red stuff, and it's bright green Christmas hoodie for the folks.
Is that handmade?
No, it's not. I did buy it at Target a number of years back, and it's just one of those things. You pull it out, you wear it once a year. Last year, I had my my festive checkered red and green sport jacket that I wore the final home game before Christmas, and on Sunday, it didn't feel like a game to break it out. We'd still had one more till Christmas. It's on the road, so I just went regular suit, and I thought, well, for the final podcast before Christmas, we'll bring out the festive Christmas hoodie.
Well, it was fun to see everybody and to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah on Sunday as well. It was our Jewish Heritage Night at the Delta Center. But thank you for everyone who stopped by. Glad that the Christmas cookies didn't kill anybody. I think everybody enjoyed them for the most part. Adrian, I didn't leave with very many, so I consider that a success. People were going for the 7-layer bars more than anything, but had some really nice notes dropped off as well, and great to see everybody around this time of year. So all the best to you and yours, and thank you for stopping by and saying hi to us. But AD, we got a game to break down here tonight. We can't start the Christmas party too soon. There's still work to be done with Utah in Ball Arena this evening against the Avalanche, where the Avs have not lost in regulation yet this season. They are on some kind of heater. Only 2 regulation losses for the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, they're the best team in the NHL, head and shoulders against everybody else in the league right now. And it's not just Nathan MacKinnon. It's not just Cale Makar. They're doing it at all levels.
3 of the top 10 scorers in the league, though, with MacKinnon 30 goals, Natchez is 6, Cale Makar is 9th. They score the most goals in the league at 4.03. They allow the fewest goals at 2.17. And Mike, Sunday night when Mammoth were taking on the Winnipeg Jets in a Central Division tilt, we had the Avs taking on the Minnesota Wild, who had won 7 straight games, and with Quinn Hughes 3-0. And the Avs went up to St. Paul and beat them by a count of 5-1. There was a remark made Thanksgiving weekend by Minnesota goaltender Jesper Wallstedt about how Minnesota beat Colorado in a shootout. And it snapped a multi-game winning streak for the Avs, and Minnesota was feeling good. And Jesper Wallstedt said, it kind of says that we're a better team than them. And not only did the Avs take that to heart, they also pinned the quote to the top of their Twitter/X account after they beat Minnesota 5-1 on Sunday. That's we've talked about the toughest division in hockey. Minnesota adds Quinn Hughes, had the 7-game winning streak snapped, but I think the best thing I saw about the Central Division was today in The Athletic and their top 5 rankings of the week. And it said, we've got 3 teams ranked in our top 5, 1, 2, and 3 Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, and one of them's going to lose in the first round. These are faulty rankings.
Well, and that's one of my favorite things about Colorado. You mentioned the streak of Minnesota earlier. The Avs have done that to a bunch of teams on win streaks this year. And so they're not just, moseying their way through. They're beating teams at the peak of their powers. Now, Minnesota was on a back-to-back, but the last thing that I want to do is give Nathan MacKinnon any bulletin board material. With the edge, the tenacity, and the motor that guy plays with, the last thing that you need to do is spark his interest and his vigor even more than what Jesper Wallstedt did. So Avs are rolling. Again, only 2 regulation losses. Going back to their prowess at home, 14-0-2 at Ball Arena this year. It's the longest home point streak to start a season in franchise history, and that goes all the way back to their days as the Quebec Nordiques. It's the second longest. They have their second longest home winning streak in franchise history as well. I believe they've won 12 in a row at home. You look at where they are through 35 games right now, those 57 points. That is the second most ever in NHL history. They have 59 points after the win against Minnesota, by the way. So those 59 points, second most ever through 35 games in NHL history, tied with the 1929-1930 Boston Bruins. And I know we all remember that team.
Just Matt McConnell, but just had to throw it out there. I'm just teasing. It's just such an easy softball. I don't mean it. I love Maddie. I'm just the only one that never makes jokes about Maddie, so I'll do it right here on Mammoth Daily in the last episode before Christmas and ruin Christmas. But yeah, the only 2 teams they've lost to, Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders. Last regulation loss was December 4th. At the Islanders. They haven't lost in regulation to anybody in the Western Conference, Mike. And they held on. They beat Winnipeg 3-2 Friday. Looking back at their victories, 5-3 over Seattle, 4-2 over Nashville. The Florida Panthers, Mike, have 7 wins in their last 9. They're getting hot. We saw them at the Delta Center. Played a good game, beat the Mammoth in the final minute there. They beat the Florida Panthers 6-2. Right after they came from the Delta Center on that back-to-back, just kind of mowing through everybody. But you look at their last 10 games, the test against the Wild 5-1, and then Florida beat them 6-2. So their most impressive wins in their last 10 have been against the 2 best teams that they've played in their last 10 games. Minnesota, who just got Quinn Hughes, and the defending Stanley Cup champions in Florida, who are playing really well right now. They seem to like a test, Mike, and I don't know, like where does this end? What's Utah do to go in and get a result on this one? It's the last game before Christmas. Sometimes those games have kind of a last day of school before Christmas break feel, like everybody's all hyped up on sugar, and the games will get a little out of control, but gosh, I don't think Florida or Colorado has a single game like that this whole year.
Yeah, they don't. There haven't been any spots really where they've let up. Or I was trying to comb through the schedule and find any of the scheduled losses or implied losses that we like to point out, and you just can't find any. They're so motivated, and I think the way they exited the playoffs last year, losing to their former teammate in Mikko Rantanen in the first round at Dallas. And we can talk more about the NHL playoff format in a little bit. I know you were hinting at that. But the way they exited in the first round at the hands of Rantanen and the Stars, that, I think that played a part in the start of the year. But at this point, they're feeding off of the confidence that they've developed within this season. And I think MacKinnon is known as one of the really driving personalities. But what you also hear from people around the Avalanche, people who cover the Avalanche at all, is how important Gabe Landeskog has been to that room to kind of be the good cop to Nathan MacKinnon's bad cop. And so you get your captain back in the fold after missing him for the past 3 seasons, essentially. that impact can't be overstated. I think the Brett Burns deal is one of the steals of the NHL. He's making $4 million, but most of it's like what do you call them, AD? Like the incentives.
An incentivized deal, right?
Yeah, right. But what
Yeah.
like there's a special name for it. I'm sounding like such a cap idiot right now. But bonuses. A lot of it's in bonuses.
Oh,
yeah.
bonuses.
So
Christmas bonuses.
I believe
I'd love one.
Yeah, right. Okay, Clark Griswold. I believe Burns only counts as 1 million against the cap. And I'm going to pull up Puckpedia as we're talking so I can check myself on that. But I believe he only counts as 1 million against the cap, and he's riding a point streak right now. He's been fantastic for them on the back end, killing penalties, can also play on the power play, adds a veteran presence, 19 points so far this year for him. It's just one more guy for them on the back end. A lot of people have been talking about Sam Malinsky, who we've played against a bunch, and he's done some good things. I never really thought he popped out a ton, but Malinsky's having a really good year on the back end as well, and all of that is behind Cale Makar, who leads all defensemen in points right now. So yeah, there's no let up. Makar and McKinnon are the two big guys up top. Everyone has fallen in line behind them. And then both goalies, the lumberyard, as they're called, Wedgwood and Blackwood, they each have .920 save percentages. So where do you beat this team? You say, where does it end? Like, probably ends with the President's Trophy. They're on pace to tie the 2022-2023 Boston Bruins in terms of points right now. Boston finished that year with 135 points, which set the record in the NHL, and the Avs are on pace to reach that mark as well.
Yeah, these goalies, Mike, Mackenzie Blackwood, Scott Wedgwood. Scott Wedgwood had entered into the Canadian national team at the Olympics conversation, a guy that they picked up in the middle of last year. He's 33 years old, never really became a full-time NHLer until he was pushing 30, but this is an Avs team, Mike. They could win with two goalies that have 880 save percentages and 3.50 goals against averages, but they don't. Blackwood, a 11-1-1 record, a 2.16 goals against average, a save percentage of .924. Wedgwood, 15-1-4, a 2.10, and a 9.20. The Mammoth this year have played Colorado twice. You could say, Mike, they've played them as good as anybody. They lost 2-1.
Oh, yeah.
That game that was tied in the third period. They scored a power play goal. Nathan McKinnon was in his spot there to fire it home. And then that overtime game on October 23rd at the Delta Center, nationally televised, should say October 21st at the Delta Center, nationally televised. Utah fell behind 1-0, tied it up, took the lead. Colorado tied it. Utah took the lead. Avs tied it. And Utah with one of their patented first minute of overtime wins with Gunther and Keller. But they have played them well, and it'll be a fun test. One more going into that holiday break.
And they played them well all of last year too. Every game was relatively close. One thing that stood out to me when I was kind of going back through the numbers of the last two games, Utah should have won that second game in regulation, by the way. Nate just scored with 2 minutes left, just an insane shot. But Mammoth get that one in overtime. But something that stood out to me was Utah actually had twice as many scoring chances off the rush compared to Colorado, which you think of the Avs, you think Natchez and McKinnon and Lehkonen flying up the ice, right? Getting whatever they want off the rush using their speed. But Utah actually had twice as many of those rush chances in the games. Now, the Avs had a lot more offensive zone possession time, but the script was flipped a little bit for the two Colorado matchups compared to what we've seen throughout the year for Utah, where the Mammoth didn't have as much possession. Utah, a possession team. They like to control the puck, like to make plays. Colorado was that team that had the puck more in the offensive zone, and it was Utah that was countering up the ice and getting opportunities off the rush. So when McKinnon has the puck and when he's motoring in the offensive zone, you're holding on for dear life while that's happening. But as if you can hold the dam against them, and if you can pack the paint, not allow any second chances for the Avalanche, and if you can counter them, you can generate some chances off the rush, like what we saw from Utah in the last couple of matchups. And I think that's where the Mammoth have the best chance in this game, because I just don't think you're going to control possession with Makar and McKinnon and everybody else they have in their roster as well. I don't think you're going to have the puck more than they have the puck. It's, can you get in behind them, and can you kind of catch them when they're being aggressive in the offensive zone and counterattack and be opportunistic against the Avalanche. That's kind of how I see Utah winning this game, is on the counterattack off the rush.
And Mike, we talk about percentages, right? The Avs have that record of 26, 2, and 7. Like, you got to lose at some, right? If they lose 6 games all year, they've got 4 games left to lose, right? So it's coming off an emotional game. It's the last team you expect to come in and be flat right before Christmas at home, but you can go see what you can do. It'd be huge to pull away with 2 points, and the way I look at it from a percentage standpoint, Utah's in Colorado, 2 points up on San Jose for the wild card spot. San Jose's in Vegas tonight. Sharks have lost 2 in a row, and you talked about it. You're playing good hockey, and then you lose one, you lose a second one. You kind of starts to creep in. You know what I mean? When the Mammoth had that 7-gamer snapped. So for Utah, what I'm saying, Mike, pretty good percentages that they go into Christmas in a wild card spot, which would be a pretty nice thing to look at in the standings for 5 days between games.
Yeah, you feel a lot better as you take the stockings down, for sure. But let me just unload a couple more notes I had on this Colorado matchup before we get to our Tuesday mailbag. We mentioned Avs potentially winning the President's Trophy. Sure looks like they have a good chance to. They're 4 points up on the Dallas Stars, who are second place in the NHL right now. But the last President's Trophy winner to win the Cup was?
Last President's Trophy winner to win the Cup.
We played one of them against Winnipeg on Sunday.
Chicago?
2013
Caves?
Chicago. Yep.
It's been that long?
Now that was a shortened season. That was a lockout shortened season. So Chicago technically won the President's Trophy on that shortened season, but then they went on to win the Stanley Cup as well.
It's been that long?
Yeah,
since somebody.
Let's pull it up here. This was a fun little exercise. Here, you stall for me while I pull it up, Adrian.
That's why I couldn't come up with it, Mike, because I guess it was that far away, but I didn't think it was. I guess I was dating myself, and 12 years ago feels like 6 months ago at this point. But there is that President's Trophy curse that you hear about pretty much on all levels of hockey, having the best record in the regular season, but not being able to pull it through to win the cup at the end.
All right. So President's Trophy. Last year, Winnipeg lost second round.
Okay.
24, New York made it to the conference finals, I think, that year. Boston won it in 23. Ended up getting beat by the Panthers that year in the first round, I believe. Panthers in 22 won the Stanley Cup, but then
Presidents, yeah.
Presidents, but they would have gotten beat by Tampa Bay
in the second round. Yeah, they beat Washington in the first round, I believe, lost to Tampa Bay in the second round.
Avs won it in 21, didn't win the Cup. Boston in 20 didn't win the Cup. Tampa in 2019, that was the year they lost to Columbus. Big upset, the sweep by the Blue Jackets. Nashville in 2018, Washington in 2017, Washington in 2016, New York in 2015. Hawks won it that year. The years that the Washington won it in 16 and 17, those were Pittsburgh Cups. So kind of continuing that rivalry there. 2014 Boston, 2013 Blackhawks win the President's Trophy in a shortened season. They had 77 points, 36 wins that year. So,
wow, that is I didn't believe it was that far away. That's incredible. 12 years since a team that had the best record in the regular season won the Stanley Cup.
and again, that wasn't even a full season.
Yeah, when was the last time somebody won the Stanley Cup after winning the President's Trophy in an 82-game season?
You got Vancouver in 2011. They lost to Boston that year, right?
Yep.
Who won it in 08?
Pittsburgh, right?
Detroit. Detroit was the last one to do it in 08.
Gotcha.
They had 54 wins in 2008, and Mike Babcock led them to a Stanley Cup final to a Stanley Cup win that year.
Yeah. Okay.
So 2008, last time a team played a full season, won the President's Trophy, and won the Cup. So can happen, but doesn't happen very often.
Fun exercise, Mike. Like we're just over at the break, eating peanut shells, flipping them into the bowl, and doing trivia with each other.
Eating Woody's pistachios.
Yeah.
Just sprinkling the shells on the ground. Okay, just a couple more notes, and I'll make it quick, then we'll get to free for all here. My last one is how important it is for Utah to start in this game tonight against the Avs. This year, Colorado has scored in the first minute and a half of a game 9 times this season. So they come out of the gates hot. Marty Necas has done it 4 times this year, where he scores a goal in the first 90 seconds of a game. So this is not a team that typically comes out flat. Mammoth are going to have to bring it against their division rival in the Rocky Mountain rivalry. But AD, let's get to our Tuesday mailbag here and wrap up our first segment on Mammoth Daily.
Looks like the mail's here. Time for the Mammoth Mailbag.
Welcome into your Tuesday mailbag. This is our last episode before the holiday break, but we've got a bunch of great submissions, including Adrian, Santa Claus has written into us. I have already wrote my letter to the North Pole, but Santa has written back, or has at least submitted back. He's a big fan of the Daily Show and of the Tuesday mailbag.
Well, Santa goes to the top of the line here on Mammoth Daily, Mike, because we know who brings the presents. So let's lead off with Santa here on a video message on our Tuesday mailbag.
Merry Christmas! Coming to you from my nice, cozy, warm front room at the North Pole in front of Mrs. Claus's artificial tree. And you, Mikey Folta, I heard what you said about artificial trees. You did yourself no favors to get on the good list. That's a beautiful, beautiful artificial tree that you don't have to rake up needles. Anyways, Dom, Maddie, the rest of the crew, AD, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. I'm a Scrooge, apparently.
You did yourself no favors.
Oh, well, thank you, Santa, for writing in. But at least I have plenty of cookies to leave out for him.
You do. You do have plenty of cookies for Santa. Thanks, Santa. You go to the front of the line every single time, big fella. Thanks for weighing in. Let's get to one here, Mike. Letter number 2. It comes to us from Moist. I'd love to hear more about the prospects and the future of the team. What will the prospects bring to the team to elevate them? How are things going for them? Does the team have what they need in the prospects, or is there still something missing? Great question, Mike. It's a big department. The amateur scouting, the drafting, the developing. Here's a couple notes. Bill went full into centerman for a couple years, right? Starting with Logan Cooley. Bill Armstrong and his team, they draft big guys, Mike. They haven't drafted anybody under 6 foot since the 5th round in 2021. 45 straight picks, 6 feet or taller. We haven't talked a lot about goaltending. We got Michael Robel, a 2nd rounder in 2023, drafted right after Logan Cooley. He's 6'6", playing at UMass this season. He's 6-5. Gabe Smith is another guy I think the organization's pretty high on, a 4th rounder in 2024. He's got 2 5-point nights this year, playing for Moncton, teammate with Caleb Denoye, 32 points in 28 games. Kobo Dwayne is having a great year. He's got 41 points in 25 games, a 1st rounder in 2024. So I think, Mike, the amateur scouting aspect of it, you always want as many picks as you have, because the more picks you have, the better chances of getting players that are going to come up to the pro level, the NHL level, but also, Mike, that you can use as assets, either the draft pick or the prospects, when you get into a point where you're looking to make mid-season deals and add pieces and bodies to the pipeline. So we haven't hit on goalies. There's some skilled forwards, but you see how Bill likes to draft them. He likes to draft them big for size, which when he took over, did not have a lot of size, and it came to Utah. The Mammoth's still looking to get big and still looking to add some size.
Yeah, and it's getting to a point here too where the Mammoth have so many assets that not all of them are going to be able, or there's not a path forward for all of them, or there's not a contract for all of these young players. And I say that because you look ahead to next year's draft where you have 3 second-round picks, you have multiple third-round picks, you have multiple third-round picks the year after that, and multiple picks in the bottom 3 rounds of the draft in each of those next 2 years. And so all these guys entering, I mean, you can only have 50 contracts. There's only so many that you can have contracts out at one time. And so we've started to see it recently, and we had some great numbers on this. I should have pulled them up for today, but really starting with the Sergachev and Marino trades, that was kind of the dawn of this new era. I mean, obviously it's a new team in Utah, but a new mode of operations for Bill Armstrong, where they're now trading away future assets to acquire current assets. Where you're trading away picks and prospects to get Sergachev, you're trading away picks to get Marino, and pretty much every trade or every exchange that's been made since then has been of that mode where you're trading away future assets to get current players. We're going to see more of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of it this year, but we're certainly going to see more of that in the years and off seasons to come. You mentioned Gabe Smith. He was a guy that we saw got a lot of run at training camp and in the preseason. Big body, like big power forward, and I think the organization is really high on him. You mentioned that. I agree with you on that. He's not afraid to drop the gloves. He's a little bit of what Utah doesn't have a ton of right now. I think the closest comparison to him would be a Lawson Krause type player, someone who's going to play rough and mean, goes right to the net, but has a scoring touch as well, more of a scorer than a playmaker. Similar body, like 6'4", big, 220 plus, pretty well developed for a kid of just 20 years old who's playing in juniors. He's a guy who I would have loved to see play at the collegiate level and see how he stacks up against older players, but a guy who probably will be in the AHL next season. You'd have to think he's signed to an entry-level contract, so you would imagine that he would spend some time in the American Hockey League with Tucson as he continues to refine his game. But then you have the big names, Aginla, Denoye, Baudouin, all those guys are going to be representing Team Canada at the upcoming World Juniors tournament. Gonna try and gonna check in on those guys as they represent their respective countries. All those guys will be on Team Canada, of course, but excited to see Robel as well. Is he going to be at World Juniors for, is it Czechia, Adrian?
Yeah, was last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I think Bill said the number was 9 of Utah's prospects will be in the World Juniors Championships, which if you missed it last week, it's a world tournament for kids 18, 19, 20 going at it with their countries. It's a fun thing between Christmas and New Year's, and NHL Network will have it for you. Take one on.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, we're going to the next one?
Yeah, let's take one from the Friendly Cyclist asking about face-offs and the art of the face-offs. Says it used to be where the center used to take all the face-offs, didn't matter the side of the ice, etc. Now it seems to be more specific to the player who's on their strong side. Furthermore, guys used to be more dynamic in the face-off circle, i.e. tying up the opposition and kicking the puck or pushing the puck forward and stepping around the other center like Keller did earlier this season instead of pulling the puck backwards on their backhand the vast majority of the time. He says, I'd love to hear any insight as to how the game has changed. Well, Friendly Cyclist, we're glad you asked, and we went straight to one of our favorite experts, Nick Olczyk, to answer this question.
Friendly Cyclist 77. It's a great question you asked for the mailbag, and there's a lot of different ways you can go to when trying to talk and instruct about face-offs. But the one key is I will ask of you the next time that you watch a game, Friendly Cyclist, watch how both of the centers, their eyes are fixated on the puck and on the referee's hand who's dropping it. Oftentimes it's a misconception that they're staring down at the ice waiting for the puck to drop. But most importantly, it's all about timing. So as soon as that puck hits the ice, they want to be able to try to swipe it back with their stick. And I got a little bit ahead of myself there. So even before that, just before they glance at the puck, each center is looking at one another to try to see if they can maybe see what the other one is trying to do. Are they trying to tie up a stick and then go in and win it with their skates? Are they just looking to win it cleanly? So those are a couple of different things that a center is thinking about once he's going in to actually be able to take the face-off. It comes down to timing, but also the time of the game. If it's late in the game, say you really need to win a face-off, but you can't lose it clean, say it's a defensive zone face-off for a guy like Kevin Stenlund, sometimes that guy won't even go in with the mindset of trying to win it. He's just going to try to tie up the stick, and then the wingers will come in to try to be able to help out. More times than not, that's so crucial, is to have wingers come in and be able to help out the centerman, because though the center does get charged with a face-off win or a face-off loss, oftentimes it is the wingers, and sometimes in the defensive zone, the defensemen as well, that need to come in and try to find those loose pucks if the centerman isn't able to win it clean. It's a huge part of the game, maybe not talked about enough. And one other thing that a lot of people ask me about in terms of face-offs is, well, why do face-off centers get warnings? Why do they get kicked out sometimes? Very similar to encroachment in football. If you jump too early, there's a false start. You move over the line of scrimmage, you try to swipe the other player's stick away before the puck is dropped. That's where the centerman will either get a warning or he's going to be able to get kicked out by the linesman. So there's a lot there, but it is such a crucial part of the game, because when you start with the puck, you're not chasing the game.
There you go, Mike. Great answer from Nick Olczyk on faceoffs. Great question from the Friendly Cyclist. We always love hearing from Friendly Cyclists, especially that one.
That's great. I remember this one Jonathan Taves quote too, talking about faceoffs, and he said that he's not as much looking for the puck to get dropped. The linesman oftentimes will actually lift their hand a little bit before they drop the puck. You see, if you're watching on YouTube, you kind of see how when you like drop the puck, you lift your hand a little bit at the start. So he actually watches for that hand to go up first, and that's where he starts his first movement. But I thought that was interesting coming from Captain Serious Jonathan Taves, who still is an elite face-off man.
All right, Mike, you want to do one more?
Let's do one more
here on the Tuesday Mailbag. One more for 2025. Let's take this one. It comes to us from Jerry and says, apropos of nothing particularly happening in Philadelphia, what's the worst hot mic mishap you guys have had in your careers?
Ooh. Wow. Yeah. Oh, great to see you, by the way, Jerry, the other night. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Um, Gosh, I luckily don't have a great story on this. You get taught, Adrian, never, even if you don't know a microphone's on, even if it doesn't look like it's plugged in, just never around a microphone say anything that you wouldn't want to go public. Um, I've said plenty of things. I think the worst things I've probably said on a microphone are just when I didn't know like someone was listening on the other end, right? Where maybe you're like, gosh, Jimmy really screwed that one up. And then Jimmy chimes in, hey, right here. And then you're like, oh, hey, Jimmy, how are you? But I can't even remember a specific like instance of that. I don't know. AD, have you ever had anything bad like that?
Do you know why, Mike? I think our answers are pretty boring here is because we both just came up through the minor leagues. And when we were in the ECHL and the AHL, you've got ECHL TV and AHL TV, and it's a live feed. Your mic is live during breaks. It's just a shot of the arena with your mic, and whether the game's going on or not, it's a live feed. Everything you hear is heard. And so from a very young age, I have been very conscious of everything I say. I don't say anything. And Mike, you can tell when we're in section 6-7 together and I want to say something to you, I take my headset off and I make you take your headset off and I whisper in your ears.
Yeah.
It just general, let's do this here. What do you think about this? Not anything that we wouldn't want on the air, just as a matter of just habit. And in Tucson, I would text my producer anything that I wanted to tell him because it's easier than unplugging the AHL TV feed, plugging it back in, or having everybody watching say, hey, let's add another 30 seconds here because this teddy bear toss is going along. Plus, Mike, in the Maverick Center, same thing. Live mic in the arena, the PA feed, so folks could hear you in the bathrooms. It was just a straight feed from me, so it was live. So anything I said, somebody could hear it. So I've always been very, very particular and very, very nervous around microphones, which I guess that's one positive trait that I do have, Mike.
Oh, stop it. You have more positive traits than that. That's perfectly said. That's perfectly said because it's the same for me. You can't trust the setup that you assembled, and like I'm not an audio engineer. I'm just doing the best I can plugging in these XLRs. What do you got?
I'll give you one more, Mike. And it's happened twice this year. On our broadcast, we whip it around, man. Like I'll be in the Mountain Blue studios and you'll toss it back to me and we're looking at a replay, right? So Will Trubshaw, our producer, is on his toes, turning the mic on and off, right? So he's when you whip it back to me, he's right there to turn the mic on. There's been 2 instances this year, Mike, where I've been talking to him, but he thinks I'm talking to you. He'll throw my mic on, the red light comes on, and I turn white and stop talking. And I'm like, "Wah." Like, so that's as close as it's come, just because the way we whip it around. Will's always on his toes, and he's thought that I've been talking to you when I'm talking to him. So that's as close as it's been this year.
Well, a good Tuesday mailbag, and thank you everyone for your submissions. Let's get to our third period, AD, and wrap things up, and we can send everybody on their way to enjoy time with family and enjoy the game later tonight.
This is Mammoth Daily.
Back for our third period, Utah and Colorado meeting for the third time this year already. That's coming up later tonight at Ball Arena. We'll have the game for you on Hockey Night in Utah. Myself and Adrian on the call. But AD, we're wrapping things up here. It's our last show of 2025. We'll be back in January following a little break. But there's some unwrapping to do as well. You've got a little something under your Christmas tree.
I've got one present under my beautiful Christmas tree, Mike, with no needles
Fake tree.
to No needles to sweep up, as Santa said just a few minutes ago. I've got one present. It's from you, Mike.
Now I got
Actually, hold the phone. It says it's from Tusky.
Oh, he's very thoughtful. He's very thoughtful this time of year.
Says it's from Tusky. All right, I'm going to open it up. This is how we're wrapping up 2025. Going to Christmas vacation. On Mammoth Daily.
I think I used hockey tape to tape it. I didn't have anything.
Is that what that is?
Else. Or no, maybe it's like Gorilla Tape or something. Yeah.
That's fair. All right. It looks like a picture frame here. We're pulling it out.
Hopefully it's not broken. This is great. This is great radio. He's opening.
Oh.
He's seeing it. He's got his eyes on it.
Mike, you're unbelievable, man. This is great. This, folks, is the front page of the game notes from January 10th, 2025, which is my niece's birthday.
Oh.
My niece's 7th birthday, January 10th of 2025. And Mike took the front page of the game notes and framed it. Mammoth beat the Sharks 2-1. Barrett Hayton got the game-winning goal. Because, Mike, we're very sad that your grandmother passed away, and you missed a couple games that weekend, but I was absolutely honored to fill in for you, my friend. And thank you very much. That's a very sweet gift. Very sweet.
Oh, of course. I was going to fashion a frame from the branches of my real tree, but I decided to go with Etsy instead. But
rest in peace, Grandma Marty. And I was honored to fill in for you.
Yeah, it's your first game. It's a cool moment. That's something that Matt McConnell kind of inspired me with, because he always likes to say, especially early in your career, like, keep the game sheets, because you'll look back on these and you'll say 20 years from now, what? This guy was in the lineup? Like, Vlad Kolyachonok had a goal in this game, or something like that, right? I mean, you'll remember things that you couldn't come up with off the top, but seeing those old game sheets will spark something for you. And so I've got a couple lying around, but I wanted to throw your first NHL play-by-play call in the frame. It's a special moment.
Very kind of you, Mike, as always. Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Adrian. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone who's been a part of us ever since we started the show in September. So we're so grateful for all the support from Mammoth Nation, all the day-to-dayers, and thankful for everyone who listens on the radio and comes up to say hi to us as well. But AD, we've got a game tonight. We've got to send everybody on their way to enjoy Utah and Colorado. We'll see if the Mammoth can take down the beast of the West. The Avalanche have been almost unblemished to this point. Utah's given them a couple close shaves, including a win, but it should be a fun one here tonight. The last game before our Christmas break.
Yep, and then we'll be back Monday, December 29th with Nashville. And a quick programming note tonight, folks. We've got Jazz basketball in the Delta Center, so they will have 97.5. We will have 1280 AM, the KSL Sports Zone. Our coverage starts at 6 with Hockey Night in Utah, 7 o'clock faceoff. Of course, you can hear it on the KSL Sports app, NHL app, Sirius XM. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for tuning in on Mammoth Daily.